Why on God's green earth do job listings not list the salary? Why are we still pretending like the only reason any of us work isn't for money? I was told it was tacky to ask in the first interview about salary, and I still can't wrap my head around that. We're both wasting each other's time if our Venn diagram of salary options don't overlap. It was infuriating. Edit. I actually did ask about it in the first interview, and the guy leading the interview said, "We'll get to that next time." I'm still getting over the idea that it's taboo to discuss pay with coworkers. One job a while ago, I got told in a first interview they would table a package during the second interview if we both agreed to move forward. Went to second interview and they offered me $56K for a QC lab manager at a major brewery in 2010. I said that's not even close. They came back with $60K a few days later. Nope. They re-advertised a couple weeks later. I already had a job that was $85 $100K package. I wondered the same thing last year when I was hunting. Even if I have a sincere interest in the work, the pay does matter, and I have a bottom line I have to meet for myself. Why waste your time and mine, right? My guess is it gives them the ability to lowball, but I don't actually know the answer. It's really frustrating. My guess is it gives them the ability to lowball, but I don't actually know the answer. It's really frustrating. You guessed right. It gives the employer more bargaining power, and it has no downside because they don't need to employ you, but you do need to be employed. I got screwed over because of this. I had just graduated college and had no idea what to request for salary. I was desperate for a job and just gave them a number that I thought was reasonable for the position. Turns out the number I gave way below the industry average, so they ended up giving me more than I asked for, but still below industry average. My yearly review is coming up and I'm going to try and request fair pay now that I know what I'm doing. I wish I had done more research the first time. Also, to prevent existing employees from seeing it. Like if I am hiring a developer and willing to pay $80K, but one of my current developers is at $75K, they gonna see that. You also hit on another reason for this, as well as the reason they don't want you talking about income with your fellow employees. So that they can pay everyone differently. If they can find the bare minimum to keep you as an employee, but without going high enough that it's more worth it to train a replacement, that's what they're gonna pay you. And that number is different for everybody. So if you're happy enough making $11 an hour, they don't want you to know that your coworker is making $14 an hour, because then you'll want that $14 an hour too, and their whole deception and manipulation scheme breaks down. I always reach out and ask what the salary range is. Pretty rare I didn't receive the information. When I don't, I move on. Only because I've been to a few that didn't disclose. There's a reason, it's a lowball offer. Nobody got time for that. I was recently offered a job. During the interview I was told the base hourly rate and that there were bonuses that I could achieve to make an unlimited amount. So of course I asked, what is the pay structure behind these bonuses? How many clients would I have to get or keep, and how much would each client net me? Interviewer wasn't sure, but it would all be explained to me during training. Yeah, okay, sure. Let me just agree to come in and start training for a job for an unknown amount of money. Sounds like a good deal to me. Yes, salary ranges are usually provided, but are the employers being upfront about what they have paid or will pay? No. That range is just what they want to pay for that job at that moment in time. I found out completely by accident that the girl in my job before me was making $1,000 more than I was, plus was given $1,000 in stock. It worked out to like 35% higher comp than me, and I was doing more work, higher skilled tasks. I have a master's degree in the field and she only a bachelor's, and I wasn't fucking around at the water cooler every day like she was. I confronted my boss about it and flat out said he was being taken to the cleaners with her as an employee. Within the week I was matched in salary and given way more in stock than she ever saw. To be clear, they were paying a fair wage at the start to me for the area. She was just better at negotiating during hire, or that's what they wanted to pay when they hired her, and figured since they weren't getting much out of her they weren't going to repeat the mistake. I don't really know, but at least they made it right for me. I completely agree. I once went to 3 interviews for a job. They never discuss salary till the third interview. The pay was way below what I needed to make. Complete waste of time. I had 2 interviews for a position once, the second one with the VP of the department. Didn't get the job, but I saw it posted again a couple of weeks later with the salary listed. The reason I didn't get the job was because the salary was about 25% below my requirements. The team wanted to hire me, so they brought me in to see the VP to determine if they could raise the rate. Apparently he wouldn't budge. I also hate that it's tacky to bring up pay when applying for positions. Bitch, my whole life, not by choice, revolves around money and making as much of it as possible. No, this isn't my fucking passion. No one in this building has a passion for your corporation. We are all just here to suck as much milk as we can out of the CEO's teat. Strictly speaking, the milk belonged to you in the first place. It's the C-levels who are sucking it out of your teats and then spitting some of it back into a bucket and giving you that for your trouble. Competitive salary competing to be the most miserly, lowball insult we can sling at you. We're family. We work hard, and we play hard. Work-life balance, scale tipped heavily on the work side. And so on. Imagine looking in the paper to see your company is hiring another worker in your department at a percentage higher that you earn. It's going to cause turmoil. After all, you've been there 5 years without much of a raise. You're not going to stand for it. You'll demand equal pay. Indeed. Not listing pay on a job is an indicator of bad HR practices throughout the company. But it's common. I agree that the salary range should be listed, and the fact that it isn't is a little ridiculous. I always ask what the salary range is for any job I'm interested, because I definitely don't want to waste my time if the salary is insufficient. And if they counter with "what's your need?" or something similar, either exit the interview because this company doesn't want to work with you, or counter with something along the lines of "that depends on the area's cost of living, rent, etc." Anything that puts the ball in their court for offering a range. Why do you want to work here? I don't. I just want money. I responded because you have a position for which I am qualified once. They didn't seem satisfied with that response because, their company was obviously the best place to work, so I must have a reason for applying to them specifically. Yeah, no. I think I actually said something along the lines of "I like money and want to have it" during a job interview once. Though it was for a bank, so it's at least somewhat on topic with the field of work. I did, in fact, get the job. I always ask the recruiter about pay pretty much up front. I explained to the recruiter that I don't want to waste anyone's time. They are never happy with me. The truth is, I'm okay with being told a range and that it will depend on experience, interview, whatever. But at the very least, can we get a range of pay? Yup. This is what I do. Every job is going to have a salary range attached to it prior to it being listed on a job site. Companies don't hire without knowing what their expected expenses are going to be. So if a recruiter ever tells you that they don't know what the salary range is, they're lying. Never tell a recruiter how much you make, or how much you expect to make. Be adamant in asking what the salary range of the position is. As a general rule, I always ask what the salary range is prior to doing an in-person interview. No reason for me to waste my time interviewing for a position that I'll never accept. Pro tip: if you're using Seek, I think it's just NZ and OS. Jobs have to include a salary when they're listed, even if they remain hidden. So for a job that doesn't have a salary listed, just search for that job and change the search filter between different salary ranges to determine what it is for that job. I've been a recruiter for 15 plus years, and most of the time the reason is the company don't want existing staff to see the salary band, as they are inevitably underpaid compared to new hires. As a hiring manager, at the end of the interview there's always that question where we ask if you have any questions, and most people say no. I usually respond with "really? Not even how much we are going to pay you?" If you don't want to just blurt that out, ask what they like about working there, which is a nice lead question that can evolve into wage and hours. That question is always on my list, but everything I've read always says not to mention it in a first interview, but I hate not knowing one of the most important pieces of that job. Based on everyone's comments on this thread, it seems like maybe I should just start asking anyways. I do not believe this is an accident. The one employee characteristic that employers desire most is compliant desperation. I hate our employment culture, period. It's all fake people-pleasing bullshit. The worst is HR. Always acting like they are on the employee's side and literally never are. I went through 3 rounds of interviews before I got the answer of $12 HR. I have a bachelor's, other continuing ed, 20 years of work experience and in a high-call area. Minimum wage is $15. I effing hate this process. Sounds like plenty of room for upward advancement. Minimum wage job had me come in for an interview as a teenager. Why do you want this job? I need money for college mostly and to just live in general. You should give a better reason than just to make money. Why? That's literally the only reason I'm here. Would you dedicate your valuable time to HR if you weren't getting paid? I'm at a point where I'm comfortable where I'm at, and when any HR person approaches me, I tell them I'm happy where I'm at and I'd consider moving for an amazing opportunity at X salary with great culture. Or I ask them what their range is right away. I cut straight to the point and have nothing to lose, only to gain attitude, and it's a great place to be. It also puts them in a position to go on the higher end of the range and work to get my attention, or I throw out a number that is significantly higher than my current salary where I'd be willing to switch companies, and I weed out a lot of companies that way right off the bat. It is very annoying, this game that we play. It's a determining fact, a big one. Like, I'm good where I'm at, I don't overwork, and I never want to, so if another company comes along that's also chill, but is offering me $15K more, yeah, I'd consider moving, and that's what I tell them.